What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back. We are breaking down the NFL divisional round games. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down the game on Sunday, January 13th, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints. Got my buddy Kyle Richardson here. Try to get a little bit of a differing opinion. Try to throw a little bit extra information out there. Give you our take on what we think is going to happen in this game on Sunday. Kyle, how we doing?
Doing well. And this has the potential for one of the best matchups of the weekend. I do also like one of the other games as well. Won't talk about it here, but I think this has the potential to really be just a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. This could turn out to be a lot more interesting than maybe a lot of people thought a couple weeks ago. I mean, the Eagles, they had to win that last week of the season. They weren't even going to make the playoffs. A lot of people had counted them out. But this is definitely a team that down the stretch played a lot better. Now, these two teams played each other back in Week 10. And if you want to call it a game, it was an absolute beatdown. New Orleans won 48-7. Drew Brees threw for 363 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mark Ingram even ran for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. It was a complete domination from start to finish for the New Orleans Saints. But that's with Carson Wentz under center. And Nick Foles seems to really enjoy playing in the playoffs. Here he is again, leading them through a tough victory last week against the Chicago Bears. I really want to say that New Orleans has a huge upper hand here, but Philadelphia is making it interesting here as of late.
Yeah, and a lot of the things are going to lead you to believe that New Orleans has a huge upper hand here. I do think it ends up being a close game. I don't think there's a blowout on either side of the ball. I mean, ESPN's matchup predictor has New Orleans at 80.9% to win this game, and that's way too high for me, especially when you have the defending champions. Okay, this is a team that's just filled with so much veteran talent that was there last year, that they had to fight and grind last year, that fought and grinded again at the end of the season this year. There's a couple of things on Twitter where some people had said that maybe Nick Foles was the best big game quarterback of all time. I wouldn't go that far. But Nick Foles he's stone cold. I mean, this is a guy that you can trust to go out there and to keep calm and to run the offense. I mean, 4th down against the Chicago Bears, you have to score or your season is over. And I mean, he just runs an excellent play, throws the ball around. I can't remember if it was Mack or Akeem Hicks who was kind of coming around, or Leonard Floyd. It was Leonard Floyd who was coming around the outside, just kind of skirted to the side of him, threw the ball around him, and just a great touchdown pass to Golden Tate. So this is going to be a close game. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit it right there. Is one of the reasons for the the recent success for the Philadelphia Eagles is their offensive line has been playing a lot better the last few weeks. I mean, they held Khalil Mack without a sack last week. It's his first. I mean, everybody's worried about Khalil Mack on a weekly basis. They contained him. And then leading up to that, some of the last few games of the season, they also held J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald, 2 of the league leaders in sacks on the season. Also, they've been protecting Nick Foles really well, and I think he has that confidence. He now has added weapons that he didn't even have last year. I mean, he's had Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz, but now Golden Tate's still added to the mix. Yeah. He hasn't really been utilized a lot this season, but I think he adds another dimension to this offense. Hits who they looked for late in the game to score that go-ahead touchdown on the Bears. I will not be surprised if all these people talking up the Saints, and yes, the Saints do have the upper hand, but I'm not going to count out the Eagles anymore. I think they have a legit shot at winning this game. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I will not be surprised if Philadelphia ends up here Sunday afternoon, moving on once again in the NFL playoffs.
And when you talk about weapons for Nick Foles this year, don't forget Dallas Goedert either, because this is a guy that if you're playing in 2 tight end sets, he's come up with some big plays this year. He's been a sneaky play in a lot of different games this year. So I do like him as well. What I really need to look at, though, when I'm breaking down this game and I'm trying to decide who's going to win, one thing that is concerning is the lack of a run game. I mean, your leading rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles is Josh Adams, 511 yards on the season. They played a very tough defense last week in Chicago, and they were still able to get through it. But, I mean, as good as Chicago was, they haven't been there in a while. New Orleans suffered a heartbreaking loss last year to the Minnesota Vikings. They should have been moving on and playing this Philadelphia Eagles team from last year. This should actually be a rematch. But that Stephon Diggs catch at the end. So I think number one, number one, the run game. If we're going to control the game and we're going to try and keep this thing, it's going to be a close, hard fought game. Who has the better run game? And that's by far the New Orleans Saints. This game is also at home for the New Orleans Saints, and there's one thing that I never do, and that's bet against the Saints at home. So I am picking the Saints to win this game, largely because of that. And then number three, because of the drive, because of what they want. The Eagles had it last year, and I'm not saying that they're not driven to get back there and still prove people wrong, but their season didn't end the way the Saints season ended last year, and they really want to get back from that. They really want to get to the Super Bowl. And you got to look at the quarterbacks too. Drew Brees, Nick Foles. Give me Drew Brees every single day. So again, I think this is super close. Eagles fans, I picked you to win last week. Okay, I did pick the Eagles to win last week, so don't think that I'm hating on you, because I do love Nick Foles in this storyline, but I think the Saints are going to be the better team this week in a very close game.
And to me, I think it really comes down to one thing. They're both solid run defenses. I know the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles gets little to no credit, but I really think it depends on the supporting cast in the receiving group there of the New Orleans Saints. They need somebody else besides Michael Thomas. They need a Traquan Smith, or they need somebody to step up. Otherwise, the Eagles are going to give them all they can handle. At times, the Saints struggled second half of the season getting that offense moving. They just sputtered at times. I'm going to be a little bit bolder here, and we're going to make it interesting, Kyle, since I have somebody to actually discuss it with. You picked the Saints. I'm going to be a little bit bolder, and I'm going to say that the Eagles do it again this week. But I'm not going to be surprised if New Orleans comes out and plays the game they've had a week to prep for this game. They're back. They're healthy. They're 100%. The O-line was a little bit banged up there second half of the season. Hopefully they can get that back on track. But at this point, I didn't pick the Eagles to win last week, and I got proved wrong once again. They went on the road. This team plays great under pressure, and it would not surprise me they pull it off again here this week.
Yeah, we're both in the same boat. We're picking these teams to win, but we're also saying if the other team walks out a winner that day, we're not going to be surprised at all about this. And that's why I said this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really close game. It's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to watch this game. I'm glad it's the last game of the weekend, because this is the game that I want to finish out the divisional round. This is going to be a good one to finish up.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be another great weekend of NFL football here. Playoffs in full swing. We're going to have a breakdown of one of these games. Each game this weekend. We'll have all 4 games here coming at you on this channel. Make sure you check out each game, get our take on what's going to happen, and then we'll see what's going on. I mean, the NFL playoffs are a very, one of those times a year that you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's what makes NFL playoff football so fun to watch. Really appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you guys go out there, check out those other videos. Hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Also, we'd love to have you around. Welcome to Headliner Nation. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.